You know why I'm here, I know why you're here. New Lisa Eldridge holiday release, let's go. Starting with the liquid lurex eyeshadows, we have the Mirror Ball Eye Kit, featuring 3 limited edition shades. All of these eyeshadows are made in Italy with 6 months shelf life. They have 2.8 mils of product in there. It's worth noting that the individual eyeshadow cardboard box packaging are just a standard Lisa packaging, not a special holiday one. This is the shade Aria. This is the shade Rosalie. And this is the shade Selene. So we'll start off with Aria. Aria is a true cool clear silver. I thought I wasn't going to like this shade as it's a cool silver and those shades don't suit me. However, this shade just basically blended out to have a clear blaze with loads of silver sparkles. So I fell in love with it. I generally just like to layer, like tap with my finger, and it's pretty easy to do. So this is the shade Aria. Very pretty one and done eye shade. I'm gonna do the other eye. This is what Aria looks like on both of my eyes. I am wearing double eyelid tape on this eye, by the way, just so you know. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's actually really pretty. Very sparkly, much sparklier than I was anticipating. I really like the liquid lurex formula. It really doesn't budge, and I find it actually very easy to layer, because sometimes with liquid eyeshadows, I think you put on one layer and as you try to build, you kind of take away as you try to build. But this does not happen with Lisa's formula, which I do really like. However, some people just don't really like liquid eyeshadows because they tend to be a little bit messier. It tends to be like a one and done eyeshadow sort of thing rather than precise application. You can apply this with a brush as well, which I like to do, but honestly I think the easiest thing to do is apply on the eyelid, blend out with a finger. And I have used this eyeshadow formula loads of times. I've used it as liner as well. It works really well that way if you just use a precise brush and build up. So I really have no problems with the formula. I think it's just a case of whether you like liquid eyeshadows or not. And the next shade we have is Rosalie. I did just wash off Aria, so I have glitter all over my face, and it's okay, just ignore that. Just ignore that. This shade is Rosalie and it's described as a warm peachy rose. And I feel like if you look at the pictures on the website, this looks like a pink, right? It looks like a pink. I feel like this is more of like a peachy nude champagne shade on my lids. It does not look pink on me at all. Also, this is more of a metallic finish, whereas Aria had loads of sparkles and a clear base. This was really more of a metallic shade, so don't expect a lot of sparkles, but expect full-on impact metallic shine. Very spreadable. A little goes a long way, as you can see. So on a website, I really thought this was going to be quite similar to Bianca, but definitely not, and I'll compare the two. And we have the shade Selene. Selene is described as a tarnished, cool-toned, greyish silver. I feel like this looks like a grey olive. It's really pretty. I love the shade, and it has a metallic finish, but has some sparkles in between. So in terms of the finish, it's kind of in between Aria and Rosalie. That's really pretty. Kind of like an olive, but not that green. And it's kind of grey, but not that grey. And I think this is like a universally flattering colour. This is definitely my favourite colour out of the three. I personally wish it was a little bit sparklier just because I love shimmers, I love sparkles. But this is a beautiful metallic grey green, subtle smoky eye. It's just so easy. That was so easy and it's so pretty. I just want to show you the 3 different liquid eyeshadows swatched out as well, so you can see how Aria, the silvery shade, you can get it like an opaque silver, absolutely, but when you apply it and blend it out with your fingers, you are left with a sheer base with lots of silver sparkles. So this is actually really pretty, and I thought I wasn't going to like this shade because silver, you know, it doesn't look good on warm olive skin tones, but because you can just sheer it out, it ends up looking just like a really sparkly topper. So pleasantly surprised by Aria. And then we have Rosalie. So Rosalie, I apply such a small amount, sheared it out, but you can see it's much more opaque, much more metallic. And then we have the shade Selene, which is kind of like in between in terms of how metallic and how sparkly it is, in between these two kind of shades. Lots of different glitters in there. I think Selene is probably my favorite, and then Aria, and then Rosalie. So I just want to compare quickly a few of the other shades with her existing eyeshadows. This one is discontinued, but it's called Lisa or Liza, which is a beautiful black, and it blends out beautifully kind of with lots of sparkles as well. So that's Lisa next to Selene. Blended out, I think, you know, Liza is definitely more impactful. It has a lot more black pigment to it. So I feel like Selene is its more wearable sister. And of course, we've got Bianca, which I thought was definitely similar to Rosalie. So Bianca is definitely more pink. This is Bianca there, that's Rosalie. And also when Bianca is blended out, like a little bit here, you can see it actually blends out with more glitter and shimmer. Bianca is probably my favorite shade from the liquid lurex eyeshadow, and when I wore this eyeshadow in one of my Lisa Eldridge videos, so many of you asked what was on my eyes. If you haven't got Bianca yet, that's like the one shade that I would recommend. I hope it's not out of stock. I remember it being out of stock for ages. I did get the 2 new shade extensions of the Rouge Experience lipsticks. I gotta say, formula wise is actually not my favorite. I do find them to be drying. However, I buy it so I can showcase it to you guys, but I have to say it's not my favorite formula. So this is 191 Dreamy Damask, and this is 192 Scarlet Sequin. I'm going to try Scarlet Sequin with the silver eyeshadow first. And just in case you guys aren't familiar with this range, each refill comes with a cap, and I think some people try to save money and just buy the refill rather than the whole case, which is, you know, a great idea. But these lids don't stay tight in your purse, so if you do just want to buy the refills to save yourself some money, just be careful with that. Although even like the cap detail is beautiful, it's got the logo and everything. And if you are interested in learning more about her lipsticks, I have loads on my channel. If you want shade comparisons, just go check out my other videos. Okay, so I've swatched down my hand, and I gotta say, on the back of my hand, it doesn't look that sparkly, but let's try it on the lips. On bare lips, this is what my lips look like. When I try out these lipstick videos, I never wear a lip liner, so you can see the true color. So Scarlet Sequin, right, on the website is described as a soft tomato red with subtle pearl shimmer. I completely agree with the description of soft tomato red, but the pearl shimmer is essentially non-existent. I don't see it on my lips. It's already a satin formula, and I don't feel like it makes my lips look shinier or anything. I just don't see the sparkles, and I wish I could see the sparkles. Do you know what I'm actually a little bit annoyed by is the fact that on these lipsticks they've got the numbers rather than the name. So this is Scarlet Sequin, it's 192, but I'm not going to remember 192. I'm more likely to remember the name, so that's a bit annoying. But this is Ribbon, and I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand. So I thought it was going to be very similar to Ribbon, but Ribbon is definitely more pink. It's got that blue tone to the red, whereas Scarlet Sequin is more of a kind of orangey red. Well, it's not an orangey red, but it's definitely got less blue in it compared to Ribbon. And this is what the 2 different bullets look like. This is Ribbon and this is Scarlet Sequin. And I've got Ribbon on this half of my lip, this new shade Scarlet Sequin on this half of my lip. So this is Atomic Cherry here, which is a lucent formula. I prefer that formula, it's more moisturizing. And we have Palazzo, which is another lucent formula, swatched right there at the top, and I think that is more of a similar tone, but it's definitely a different finish. But I'm disappointed that Scarlet Sequin doesn't have sparkles in it, because the pictures look like it's got sparkles in it. I've got Velvet Morning, which is discontinued, you can't get it anymore. Velvet Morning is much more orange. Okay, and the Strawberry Shock is here, and I'm going to put it on the other half of my lips. I actually decanted my Strawberry Shock in this because it broke. And just in case I forget to mention, if you just buy the new shades in the refill, you get the normal packaging. But if you buy the new shades with the lipstick case, then you have it in the limited edition artist illustrated packaging. And this is Strawberry Shock, and this is a new shade Scarlet Sequin. So yeah, Strawberry Shock, first of all, is matte finish, and there is more orange. And then we have Dreamy Damask. Thought this was going to be sparkly, but I hardly see any glitter in the bullet. It's a cool tone pink, like as she described on her website, but this is very sheer. So Dreamy Damask is described as a light cool tone pink, and the shade is so sheer. I was not expecting this. As you can see, I kept going it over and over and over and on my lips to see how much I can get the pigment to build up. But honestly, I don't mind that it's sheer. But once again, there is no pearl, there's just no shimmer, even though the website makes it look like there is. Also, like I mentioned previously, the Rouge Experience lipsticks in general are more drying, but I'm hoping because this is actually more sheer, maybe it'll be less drying. I'm quite happy that it's not super pigmented because it means it's a little bit more wearable for someone with my skin tone, which is slightly warm and olive, because this is a very cool tone pink, almost like a Barbie baby pink. It reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick in, was it Pink Carpet? Let me check. So this is a Charlotte Tilbury red carpet pink. That's the one I was talking about, which is the same cool tone pink. I think they're basically identical actually, but the Charlotte Tilbury is more pigmented. But I find this one actually really hard to wear for me because it's so cool toned and so pigmented, whereas this, I think I can pull it off if I use the right blush and a right eyeshadow. So really, Lisa doesn't have very many cool tone baby pinks like this, and the most similar one I found is Rosy Shell. I think this is discontinued. Editing IGing will double check, but this is the new shade Dreamy Damask, and this is Rosy Shell, and this is Rosy Shell on my lip here. And Rosy Shell is definitely even more cool tone, even more of a baby pink, as you can see here. So that's Dreamy Damask, that's Rosy Shell. If she's discontinued Rosy Shell, I feel like this is the replacement for it. Then we have the holiday lip kit, the Sequin Suite. And this is quite nice because each individual gloss has the artwork on it, not just the outer carton packaging, the trio. Weirdly, I don't know why, but the lip kit, it had stickers on, so I had to take the stickers off before I could actually open it, whereas the Liquid Lurex trio didn't have stickers. I don't know why. It's 18-month shelf life, they're made in Italy, and there is 4 mils of product. Just so you know, I did put double eyelid tape back on this eye, just to even my eyelids out. Yeah, so if you see something funky, that's not because of the eyeshadow, that's because of double eyelid tape. Let's get into the glosses, and these are the glosses. They are honestly so beautiful and so different from Lisa's like typical glosses. So I want to start off with Kensington Plum. Oh, I am mesmerized by the amount of glitter in this lip gloss. So there is a little bit of brown, but it's really quite a sheer brown, so it's not very dark, and all that's coming through right now I can see on my lips is the pink, the gold, and the purple glitters, which I love. It does not feel scratchy at all. This is Kensington Plum. It gave my lip a wash of this brownie color, but it's very, very subtle. Honestly, it's mostly sparkles. I love her lip gloss formulas because they really do moisturize your lips. When I wear this for a whole day, the next day when I wake up in the morning, my lips feel soft. It's so nice. Next up is Chameleon Chaos. Look at that. I do wonder how it will look on the lips because I don't think the dual chrome is going to show up, you know? It's just going to look really glittery, isn't it? So Kensington Plum is a chocolatey plum berry with golden sparkle, and Chameleon Chaos is a burnt orange punch with dual chrome orange pink sparkle. And to be honest, I feel like they look exactly the same when applied to the lips. So this is Chameleon Chaos. Maybe there's like a subtle difference of less brown with Chameleon Chaos, but honestly, I struggle to tell the difference. So on the back of my hand, they look really different, right? This is Chameleon Chaos at the top, and this is Kensington Plum at the bottom. But when they're on my lips, in this lighting at least, I don't see much of a difference. I think they're both equally beautiful. I really have no preference when I'm looking at it on my lips. And finally, we have Peekaboo Pink. Peekaboo Pink is a bauble cerise with hot pink sparkle, and on Lisa's website, this shade kind of looks scary, to be honest. It looks like hot pink, fuchsia, super pigmented, but That is not the case when you apply it to your lips. The pink is actually very sheer. Even though it is more obviously pink than the other shades, it is actually super, super wearable. And I really did try to build up this lip gloss with so many coats to try to get it to look like the website, but it just doesn't. It's just a sheer pink gloss with lots of lovely sparkles. So this shade is also very, very pretty. I think one coat will be plenty, and with one coat it's probably gonna look very similar to the other two shades, to be honest with you. But this one has less different colored glitters. The other shades, there are just lots of different color glitters and it's really obvious and sparkly, whereas this, because it does have more of a pink and there are just generally quite a few pink glitters in here, it just looks pink. There are gold glitters in here, but I think the other color glitters are more obvious in the other two shades. So I definitely don't think you need to get all three, because they can end up looking quite similar on the lips with just one coat of color, either Kensington Plum or Chameleon Chaos. Like genuinely, I think either of those two colors will look fantastic. And if you are into a glittery lip, I do recommend those two colors. And this is what Peekaboo Pink looks like on the back of my hand. These are the three new glosses. I actually am really happy with my purchases of the lip gloss. Like I said before, I really love her lip gloss formula, and she hasn't released any new lip gloss shades in ages, and these are such fun colors for holiday. I'm into it. And I forgot to mention that the other two glosses actually one of them is called Dancing Rose and the other one is called Silent Sun, and they are super sheer. They're really not that sparkly at all. The shimmers are very, very subtle in these, which is completely different to these new limited edition lip glosses. So if you love sparkles, really definitely go for these. So this is Dancing Rose and this is Silent Sun. Both of them have a clear base. Dancing Rose has more pink shimmers, Silent Sun has more gold shimmers, and honestly they are like so subtle, so completely different, and I'm really impressed by these. They don't feel gritty. Love these. I'm very impressed actually by this holiday release. I mean, in terms of the artwork, I think maybe I'm just not someone who can appreciate this as much, but I'm gonna keep it. Obviously it is beautiful, but I think I'm just not a very arty person, so you know, I'm not buying it because of the packaging. I'm just buying it because of the limited edition shades, which are really, really pretty, but the artwork I do think adds a nice touch if that is something that you're into. So I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of a short and sweet video, and not many comparisons because actually not that many dupes within her own line, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching and I'll see you soon. Bye.